Prime Minister David Cameron has said the UK will take more refugees from Syria over the next 5 years.
We are proposing that Britain should resettle up to 20,000 Syrian refugees over the rest of this Parliament.
This is what will happen. The United Nations will help the UK government identify people who fled the war in Syria to neighbouring countries like Jordan, Turkey and Lebanon, not those who've already travelled to Europe. The most vulnerable will be prioritised. They'll include women and children, the disabled and survivors of violence and torture. The government will then run security checks on them before deciding who to let in. Those chosen will enter something called the Vulnerable Persons Relocation Scheme, which entitles them to stay in the UK for 5 years. These refugees won't have to go through the long and often unsuccessful process of applying for asylum that others do. The refugees will be flown here and met at airports by organisations like the Refugee Council. They'll then head straight to their new homes across the UK. It's up to local councils whether they take in refugees. The government can't force them, but many have already agreed to. Over the next few weeks, they'll get help registering with schools, banks and English language courses. And once their 5-year stay is up, they can apply to settle in the UK long term. For the first year of their stay, the support the refugees get is paid for by the government's international aid budget. They'll also be able to apply for things like job seekers allowance, child benefit and can look for work. So far, the UK has taken 216 Syrians under the Vulnerable Persons Relocation Scheme. Another 5,000 have been granted asylum since 2011, though some European countries and aid charities have criticised the UK government for not taking more and for opting out of an EU plan to resettle 160,000 migrants that have already travelled to Europe. In response, the government says taking people directly from camps will discourage refugees from making that dangerous journey. And it points out that Britain is the second largest aid donor to the Syrian refugee crisis, giving more than £1 billion since the start of the conflict.